It's time to share secrets and insights from fellow entrepreneurs. If you're looking to grow or start a business and you're a game changer, then keep listening to Avanti Entrepreneur for great advice from your host, Dave Mamano, America's Entrepreneur Coach.
Hey, Avanti Tribe, Dave Mamano here. Just want to thank our sponsor, Paychex. You know, Paychex, they make it simple for businesses of all sizes to pay and manage their team. They make payroll easy with employee pay options, including direct deposit, checks, pay cards, and so much more. Founded over 4 decades ago to relieve the complexity of running a business so that the owners can focus on what matters most. Above all else, and more than any other company, Paychex makes it simple. Visit AvantiEntrepreneurGroup.com. Go to our partner link and check them out. They're offering you a free month of payroll just for giving them a shot as an Avanti Tribe member. Give them a shot, folks. They really help this podcast to be possible. Really appreciate Paychex. Now, enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Dave Mamano, your host, and we are here to help entrepreneurial achievers, business owners, and leaders move forward so that they can reach their potential. I do this by interviewing the nation's best business movers and shakers. Today, I have on the show Brian Burke. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, David. Very excited to be here and help out all the entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Glad you're here. Brian, you have a company called SellYourMac.com. Sell Your Mac. There you go. And we're going to learn more about your journey as an entrepreneur and your unique competitive advantage, I guess, in the whole Apple world. But first, I'm going to read your bio, and we're going to dig deep. So Brian Burke is currently President, CEO, and Chief Mac Man of SellYourMac.com, the world's most trusted and highest independently rated Apple trade-in company. Sell Your Mac has paid out $20 million and has helped more than 100,000 customers. Brian is a dynamic and ultra-personable individual who strives to help his community through business and service. He is always on the cutting edge of technology and loves helping other individuals and organizations stay up to date on their Apple products with his company, SellYourMac.com. Brian is striving to reach new heights and educate himself on topics he finds interesting. Brian has become a sommelier, very cool, an Apple certified Mac technician, a notary public, an ordained minister, a certified scuba diver, and has received his boating license. Brian truly loves learning and sharing his knowledge with others. Brian volunteers his time to the Professional Leadership Network, Adopt a Class, and Cincinnati Youth Collaborative, 3 local nonprofits. Brian, what a great bio. Very, very well balanced, we'll say. You are an ordained minister and you like a good glass of wine. Is that right?
That's true. I like to say I can marry you underwater and pair the wines at your wedding.
I like it very much. Well, I'm yet
to do, but that's one of my things I'm striving for.
I love it. I know that. We put it on your bucket list, right?
There you go.
So I'm Catholic, and every time I go to mass, I get to have some wine. So maybe, if you think about being a Catholic priest, you could kind of mix the two, right?
No Catholic in my background. But
you could say, and today after the Eucharist, we have a 1994, Chianti, right?
I wouldn't go very far with, a large audience of 1,000, churchgoers.
Right. Oh, funny. I know. That's right. A little side note before we dig in. I was at an Avanti event last night in Buffalo. Mike DiCioccio is our Buffalo chapter chair, and he had an event last night. And we had a business owner there, and he started, it's the coolest business being a wine lover. You might like this idea. I love just different ideas, right? And so he started a business called Open Bottle, right? You've heard of Open Table. He started a business called Open Bottle, and it's an app. And what you do is, so if you go to a nice restaurant, right? And you may do this because you're a sommelier, but most people, they see that $150 bottle of wine. Maybe it's a Barolo or something, right? And they won't get it. It's like $200 bottle of wine. They won't get it at dinner, right? But you can't get a glass either because they don't sell that by the glass. So what he's done is he's partnered with restaurants to put on the app that selling you can reserve a glass of wine from one of these like really expensive bottles.
Oh, wow. That is an awesome idea.
Yeah. So you go in there and then, for $50, you can have, a glass of that very expensive wine that you would never buy that, many people would never buy that bottle of, right? So that was a really cool idea. And, I'm always thinking like, geez, are there any more new ideas out there? And then I meet entrepreneurs and I'm like, absolutely, right? That's definitely game changing.
It's a good idea. I wonder if restaurants would adopt another system like that. What I'm seeing more and more now at fine dining restaurants is them using a Coravin device, which is a medical needle that inserts into the wine bottle and helps pump in argon gas at the same time it's putting the wine out. And it does preserve the bottle that can be used, over a multi-week period without any degradation. So then you're able to offer, these, $40 to $100 glass pours.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'll have to tell him about that because that could be a disruptor, right? So
yeah, that's his competition without an app.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What's that?
But love the idea. It's always fun to think about, new concepts and how you can combine these in the future.
Absolutely. So your idea, speaking of good ideas, Sell Your Mac, SYM, which I see on your pullover there. What inspired you to come up with this idea?
Well, it took a while to get here. It didn't just, hit me in the face, right when I was looking for a job opportunity. So I think I'd like to backtrack a little bit to college. When I was going to Tulane University, Hurricane Katrina hit us senior year. Major disruptor, it flooded the whole city. Everyone had to evacuate. A lot of lives were lost, and a lot of places were ruined. So we went to Boston University for the semester. And although I was a full-time student, I was not allowed to interview with anyone on campus for a job. So that left me second semester, trying to find a foothold, looking for job opportunities. And I was looking for all these major hedge funds in New York and investment banks that I was kind of intrigued with. And I had a background doing some trading for myself, and ultimately didn't get the job that I wanted. So it was honestly a blessing in disguise that I went back home to Cincinnati, where I was from after college, without a job, and I started buying and selling cell phones. And I really kind of pushed on the cell phone niche for about a year, built up a huge network of local resellers, and they were bringing me phones basically every week. So I was selling these phones mostly on eBay. Built up my history on there, and then I had an opportunity to pivot to Apple, and I started buying from someone in the Apple space, and I realized it wasn't sustainable. So then I wanted to create a new inbound sales channel, and that was my idea to launch SellYourMac.com. So Sell Your Mac is meant to make it super hassle-free for you to go trade in your Apple products, and there really wasn't that many sites out there offering that at the time, so it was a little bit unique.
So what year were you doing the cell phone thing?
Cell phones kicked off in late 2006, and I had a little bit of experience doing it at college, but hadn't really built a business around it. There wasn't a major website. So my first website was iBuySells,
right?
And people would just go there and trade in their cell phones, and I turn around and sell them on eBay.
Yeah, and then what year did you transition into Sell Your Mac?
2009. I came up with the concept in about February, and we launched in October. So it's been about 10 years now.
Excellent. So bring me along the journey. So I use a Mac. I've had my Mac laptop here, MacBook Pro, right, for probably 5 years, and knock on wood. I still love it. My son's like, Dad, my God, get a new computer. And I'm like, I keep cars for like 15 years if they still run. I'm like,
sure.
Why? It's nice not having payments, right? And so. I'm sure there's going to be a time in the near future that I'm going to say, all right, it's time to upgrade to the next, MacBook.
Well, to your point, the longevity of Apple products is really one of the reasons this business is sustainable. I can still buy your 5-year-old computer from you, give you some meaningful money to put towards your next purchase, and then turn around and make sure it finds another good home, and ultimately it'll be used for another 5 years by the next person.
Right. Yeah. Kind of like the Toyota of computers, right? So
keeps going. It's got a long engine on these things.
Yeah. Excellent. So take me down the path. So I would say, okay, I'm ready for a new MacBook Pro.
So when you're ready, you're probably going to go on Google and search, sell my MacBook Pro or sell my Mac. And we're going to pop up number one on Google search. That's one of the biggest things we do to help get our customers. And from there, you go on the website, you click on Sell My Apple Device, you input your specs, a couple different drop-down fields. You pick MacBook Pro, 2013, and then you pick your processor speed, and it gives you an instant quote, it says that, hey, it's worth $300. And then you basically fill in your address details and your email. You'll have a label later that afternoon, and you'll be able to send it in. If you need a shipping box, we'll send you a shipping box. We kind of do everything we can and make that experience as easy as possible. And then once we receive the device, the first thing we do is wipe it. We do provide instructions how to wipe it on your own if you want ahead of time, but that's the first thing we do when it hits our doorstep. Once it's wiped, we're going to go through, we're going to test all the components, make sure it's fully functional. We kind of have a 40-point QA checklist there. Then we're going to physically clean the device, make sure it's antibacterial, ready for the next person, because you would believe how dirty some of these computers can get. And then we're ultimately going to turn around and sell it, online.
Right. And so that's another thing too, is if I want a new Mac and I don't want to spend, whatever, we'll say $1,500. I don't even know what they go for. I could get a pretty darn good one through you for a lot cheaper, we'll say.
Absolutely. I mean, if you take the 15-inch MacBook Pro Retina, it costs $2,500 now, plus tax from Apple.
Yeah.
So you're looking at $2,700. That same MacBook Pro Retina from us right now is about $1,800.
Wow. And how
brand new 2018 model.
Really? Okay. And that's what I'm using. That's what I have right now. I have the first edition of the Retina. So what year was that? Was that 2000?
That's 2012.
Yeah. So my God, I've had this a little bit longer than
You're going on 7 years. But that's one of the misconceptions that happens though. You might have actually bought it in 2013, but it's the 2012 model. Gotcha. That trips people up a little bit. We try to put little hints in our process to help people out.
Very cool. And so let's say I buy a computer from you. How am I assured that it's going to be working for a reasonable amount of time?
Well, if you were to go on our eBay store, for instance, we're 100% positive feedback across 35,000 plus transactions. So I think just that buyer confidence in general, that we're going to make sure we take care of the customer is always there. Yeah. And we offer a 60-day warranty and everything on eBay. We do 90-day warranty, everything in our retail store. And we do offer, 1, 2, and 3 year extended warranties. A lot of times Macs don't need a warranty. Kind of to your point, you're going on 7 years and there isn't a problem. Yeah. So, it's somewhat peace of mind. If you have kids, maybe you get Apple Care Plus, you have accidental damage and stuff like that. If they break your screen, that could be, $700 to replace your screen. Right. Yeah. But in general, they're, usually working very well. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. So does Apple like you? Do they support you? Or are you kind of like an annoyance to them? Apple knows who we are. We definitely talked to them in the past. I would not say we're an annoyance at all. The discussions have been very positive. They appreciate what we do for their ecosystem, and they understand they do need this flow of buyers and sellers in the used marketplace to help facilitate the large user base they have. Yeah. And there's over 1.5 billion Apple products in use. And that wouldn't be possible if there wasn't also a large component of them being used. Yep, excellent. Now that's good to know, because I know in the Steve Jobs days, he may have found you and tried to crush you. Who knows, right? So a little territorial, right? I never got to meet Steve Jobs, unfortunately. But yeah. So very cool. So now I want to get some nuggets from your brain. You've been an entrepreneur for quite a long time, and are you a solo entrepreneur? Do you have employees? How does the business work there? We have 22 SYM team members right now. Wow. So what do most of them do? Not solo, but we've been adding to the team every year. Cool. What do most of them do? Is there are they a lot of these taking apart their computers and wiping them and cleaning them and shipping them, etc.? We have a lot of technicians. So we have technicians in the back. We have someone that does all of our shipping. We have a couple of guys that help with cleaning the computers. We have a guy that does all our photography. We have a guy that handles all our customer quotes from the website. Another guy that takes care of all of our national business accounts. I have someone that helps in operations, a couple guys in sales, and a couple people in customer service. Awesome. So it's a big operation. I mean, I think some guys that do what you do are probably just one-man shows, taking in 5 computers a week, turn them around, blah, 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 make a comfortable living. But you've really taken this to the next level. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun for a while doing it on my own. That's how it started. But I've really always had a passion to grow a business, and you just cannot do that on your own. And I think that might be something that holds back some entrepreneurs. Making that first hire, having someone on your payroll, seems like it's expensive and maybe you can't afford them, but you can't grow enough without them. So you sometimes just have to bite the bullet and make an investment in your company and in yourself to help further what you can do.
So that's a really good thing I want to talk about. So you started out as a solo entrepreneur and got it to a certain level and were doing everything, right? Chief cook, bottle washer, whatever, right? You were president, CEO, janitor, and
You got it.
wiper, right? Whatever had to be done, you were there. And then, so and a lot of entrepreneurs are like that when they're starting out, right? And it's such it's a big step to know when to let go a little bit, start hiring people. Tell us about that whole kind of like leap for you. How did that happen for you?
Well, it first started back in the cell phone business, and I was realizing I could not leverage enough what I was good at. And I'm really good at, getting the word out to the community and, spreading the marketing message and stuff like that. And on the sales front and the customer service. And, I realized that I needed more help testing cell phones and physically cleaning and wiping them. So that was my first hire, was someone basically to come in and just wipe and test all the cell phones, get them ready for sale. And I just realized I couldn't grow unless I made a jump.
How did you hire them, as a contractor or like as a real employee?
It was a real employee. This is back in 2007, $10 an hour, and they came over for 4 or 5 hours a day and tested some cell phones. And at the end of the day, maybe we sit in the porch and, have a drink and talk about it. But it was fun.
So how, as the company has grown and you have 20 plus employees, how have you, kind of found your path within the company to be doing what you do best and letting go of everything else?
It's a good question. I think it's definitely taken a lot of time to be able to let go over the years. I used to hold on to things like the eBay account because I would have so focused on maintaining this 100% positive feedback. And in my back of my head, I wasn't ready to turn it over to someone. And I was, watching the listings too closely and stuff like that. And I finally realized that, my team member, John, could handle it. And I, made the leap and, turned it over to him and, didn't look back. And, it's been virtually flawless ever since. So I think if you just instill in someone your expectations correctly, that you can take a step back and you really can't second guess it. Like, you have to be able to let them, take some stumbles. If they are doing it, 90% as good as you're going to do it, like, that's really good. So don't actually expect perfection from someone that's not you. That'll come back to haunt you.
Yeah, excellent. So now at this stage of the business, what is your favorite part of the business?
I think my favorite part is probably connecting with some of our clients. I love working on what we call the bulk side of the business, focusing on some of the larger transactions and really trying to grow the B2B side of the company. So, I'm going around to conferences and trying to speak more at industry conferences and just network. And, it's been a very positive response. Just got back from the ITAD summit the other week. And, I got a speaking engagement there about our success on eBay. And I wear a blue suit now to all my events. It's a super, super bright, even brighter than this blue suit. And that helps, bring people to me and start those conversations. And I love talking to people. So that's a good part of my day.
Excellent. Excellent. So, since you've started the business, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the team that we've built. It's been a journey for sure, adding a few new employees, usually every year. And we have an awesome group here now. And I feel very fortunate that I'm able to help them, have a job and help the community and, ultimately help people's lives by giving them, both cash back for their products and then be able to turn around and give it to someone else that can really make good use of it.
Awesome. So for those of us, watching the video version of this podcast, they can see that, you got a happy face, right? You got a little smile going on and you look like you're in great shape. So as an Avanti entrepreneur, one thing that I'm always, kind of preaching, I'll say, is being that complete entrepreneur. Like, certainly business success, let's make profits. But at the same time, are you checking the other boxes when it comes to health, mental health, physical health, relationships, spirituality, everything that would be important to you? Are you also trying to be that well-balanced entrepreneur? And as I read your bio, I mean, you're a scuba diver, you are a sommelier, you are a ordained minister, boating license. damn it, you're even a notary public, right? So you got some good balance going on. We're friends on Facebook, so I've seen you vacationing with your family. So it looks like you're striving to be a well-balanced entrepreneur. Is that intentional, or does it just naturally happen for you?
I think it is intentional. I'm sure that's intentionally has developed over the years, so it feels more natural now. But if you're not well balanced, ultimately you're going to burn out. And I've gotten to those periods of time. Looking back when I was kind of first running the Sell Your Mac business, I was staying up every night till 4 a.m. working for about 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And it take a toll on your body. And I was heavier. I was 25 pounds heavier, and eating late at night or having a beer late at night, stuff like that doesn't obviously help. So being more intentional about how I'm treating my body. In the last few years, I've tried to bike about 40, 50 miles a week. So that's been immensely helpful. Always focus on spending time with my family. That is one of my highest passions. And taking my family on vacation and stuff, and showing them places where my extended family lives is obviously very important to us. And eating healthy, I think that has been huge. I mean, if you are eating fast food, you're not going to feel good and up for the job that an entrepreneur requires.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, and I hear this from a lot of successful entrepreneurs that they're very intentional about their habits when it comes to exercise, like you are, when it comes to eating. You got
to schedule and plan. I mean, if you don't plan or schedule it in, the day's going to go by. You're not going to have any time to work out. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you do it first thing in the morning?
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
So I woke up this morning. I hopped on the bike. I wrote a team email. And then I started posting about this podcast, sharing that. So
I saw that. Yeah. How about meditating? You ever meditate?
I've done it a couple times, but I have not made that a formal practice. I have heard from a lot of the business owners I know that it's been immensely helpful, but it's not something I've actually gotten into.
Yeah, I know a lot of I try to meditate. What really is beneficial for me, whether I'm actually meditating or not, is just deep breathing, right? And I'm learning more and more about deep breathing and how important it is. There's a couple incredible TEDx videos and TED videos about deep breathing. And I think it's going to be really a next frontier of health, because it's so important to flood your nervous system and your organs with great oxygen. So what are you showing me there?
They got this nice app on the Apple Watch here that's called Breathe.
Oh, okay.
Just turn it on, do a minute at a time. It walks you through a little vibration sequence telling you when to breathe in and breathe out.
Oh, very good.
Really, if you do that a couple minutes in a row, your heart rate goes down. I mean, it does work.
It really does. It really does. Well, a friend of mine locally here in Rochester, and I'm having her on I had her on my local TV show called Rockstar. Her name is Cindy Weiss. She owns a yoga studio called Breathe, right? And she taught me about the importance of breathing, and like literally what it does is you take a deep breath, 3 seconds in, hold it for a couple seconds, 3 seconds out. And what you're doing is you're literally stimulating this nerve called the vagus nerve, right? And it's the mother of all nerves, right? It's everything starts there. I think it runs from your head right down your spine. And when you flood that with oxygen, it tells the rest of your body that everything's going to be okay. It slows your heart, slows your brain a little bit, relaxes you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the mother nerve that tells the rest of the body that everything's going to be okay. Even if you're nervous about something that you're going to go on stage, you start taking some deep breaths, the vagus nerve is going to say, hey, it's okay. It's okay.
That advice holds true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No,
how much breathing a day do you do?
Yeah, well, I try to do a lot. And there's a TED Talk, and I'm going to put it on our Facebook page that I watched the other day. And there's a guy that literally says that shallow breathing is like the fast food of nutrition, right? When we're doing shallow breathing, we're not getting like good nutrition, I guess, which is good oxygen to the rest of our bodies.
All right, more deep breaths.
More deep breaths, absolutely. So what is next for you, Brian? Where do you go? You got a great team. You're doing checking a lot of entrepreneurial boxes, and great business, 20 plus people. You seem happy. What's the next 5 years for you? Where are you going to go? What do you got planned?
Keep growing, keep thriving to be more successful and add more team members. I think there's so much more potential with this business that I don't want to lose sight of that. I definitely have an entrepreneur itch to start some other companies, but to get them to this level is obviously very difficult. So I am definitely want to keep pushing Slayer Mac to as far as we can take it. And I see a huge new avenue with more B2B in the future, potentially getting this more leasing opportunities, and ultimately just growing our network of buyers and sellers, and getting myself out there more in the marketplace, and being more known as the first choice when people are looking to buy and sell their Apple products.
So before we go, Brian, I love to ask people because, entrepreneurs are famous for talking about the great times, right? Everything is going well. But whenever I ask this question, of course, they say, oh, all right, that question, if you can, tell me about a time that, maybe it's not on the refrigerator as a bragging moment. It's a time when you stumbled and fell in your business, you say crashed and almost burned, made a mistake, whatever, but you had the fortitude and endurance to, get yourself up, assess the situation, and move on and grow and learn from it. Can you share a situation like that with us?
There's definitely been a few. We've had some major scams that have greatly affected the company in the past, and fortunately none in the very recent years. But there was two, back when we were a younger company that, would have bankrupted the business had I not been able to go out and get some funding with some debt financing, basically to get over the hump. There was a time when I was working on a deal for about $800,000 of brand new iPhones, and it was an overseas company. It was definitely legit. The owner, was in the community doing good things. The story checked all the boxes. And I even had a friend out in Australia that knew him. And, ultimately I had to prepay about a third of the deal to secure it. And I had to wire the money. And, 2 weeks later, when it was supposed to be available, that the product wasn't there. And then there was a few more weeks, we were waiting, and it was just kind of like, oh no, it's coming. And ultimately it never arrived.
Ooh.
It was terrible. And it put us in a very dark place. And, I was out $250,000, which was at the time more money than the company had made since inception.
Wow.
So that was terrible. And then I was trying to, I went after the guy in court and ultimately, won the lawsuit after spending a bunch of money on it. But we couldn't retrieve any of the funds because he fled the country.
Oh my goodness.
So, I'm really thankful I was able to go out and, get some debt to ensure we could keep going and, pay our people the next day and stuff like that. But I was in just, a world of hurt, and I couldn't sleep for, almost a couple of months. I was just so worried and anxious about things. And it took so much to kind of get past that and, refocus and like, all right, we got to focus on making the next deal happen to ensure that we can keep this thing going. And you have to, put it behind you to some extent to, keep your brain focusing on what the positives are. And it was really rough.
So you never got the money back?
Never got the money back. And
he's gone. He's living someplace wherever.
He at the time had fled to Egypt, and I don't know anymore at this point. It didn't seem like it was worth, throwing bad money after bad money.
Wow. That is rough. But I think the good news is that you, did I love the quote from Winston Churchill, when you're walking through hell, don't stop. Right. And
that's true. No, you had to wake up and lead the charge again.
Kept on going. So,
and now we don't wire money internationally. So there you go.
There you got your MBA, a learning lesson in wiring money, right? So
I recommend entrepreneurs, if you're doing deals that you don't feel 100% confident in, use your credit card, use Amex. They will protect you. If you don't receive your product, you're going to be covered.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. That's one heck of a learning lesson. And sorry you had to go through that, but I guess it's part of your stripes of being an entrepreneur.
There's
right?
a lot of lessons learned along the way. You get batted down many times, but if you're willing to get back up and walk, like you said, you can still get back.
And because you stuck with it, you've made back that $250,000 many times, I'm sure. So, good for you. And shame on him for doing something like that.
It took 5 years to pay that off, though. I mean, it was a major burden.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yep. I'm glad you made it through, and you're
things are looking good now.
It's
We're
good.
hard and growing and having fun.
Excellent. So one more question, and then we got to wrap it up. What is your, let me put it this way. If you met a young entrepreneur and you were going to give him a book for the holidays, right? Holiday seasons, Christmas, Hanukkah, et cetera, coming up, you're going to give him a present. What book is that going to be to help them grow their business?
Probably gonna have to give them more than one book. Let me mention a couple.
You're very generous.
I know. I will. Yeah, might as well give books.
Yeah.
One I really love is called Traction.
Oh yeah.
By Gino Wickman. Really walks you through the entrepreneur operating system, pace of meetings, and how to share with your team, and to teach them about the financials. Hopefully, get everyone on the same page. And I have not implemented that yet, to clarify that it's something I do strive to do.
Mm-hmm.
Another really awesome book is called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes.
Chet Holmes, God bless his soul.
Just a mastermind sales and marketing guy, and his ideas are phenomenal, and it can give you some good thoughts. Another one I want to mention, it's actually a local author, Jumpstart Your Business Brain by Doug Hall.
Okay.
This guy is a genius. He was the #1 scientist at P&G while he was there. He created more patents faster than anyone in P&G's history.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally realized he wasn't learning enough on his own there. And he left and he started a company called Eureka Ranch. And now he strives to help entrepreneurs and small teams flush out their ideas and ultimately reach that next level. Is a really interesting process. And this book has so many ideas of how to, pull learnings out of your team.
Yeah, well, I know 2 out of those 3 books. Chet Holmes, I read that years ago. He unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but that book remains to be, I think, one of the best sales books ever. It's incredible.
Awesome.
And of course, Traction by Gino Wickman's a great. They have the EOS system that you could get a Traction EOS coach to help you implement that system. I've had a lot of EOS coaches on my show,
nice.
Yeah, so absolutely. And then a lot of what was, came from Traction originally, and he talks about this in the book, he learned from Vern Harnish, who wrote 2 books that changed my life. The Rockefeller Habits, Scaling Up, yeah, and those 2 books are
Vern's awesome.
Oh, Vern, yeah, I was an EO member for years, and so absolutely. So very good gifts. I would definitely appreciate that if I was a young entrepreneur and you were giving me those.
So it sounds like I owe you a Christmas or Hanukkah gift. Jumpstart Your Business Brain.
I will gladly take that. And by the time Christmas rolls around or Hanukkah for you, I don't know, but I will give you my book. I'm writing a book that's hopefully going to come out by October, and I will return the favor and send you my latest book.
Oh, very exciting.
How's that? The book I wrote a few years ago is about workplace culture, and I named it "Make Love in the Workplace." Now, when that came out, actually it was about
workplace. That's intense.
I know. Well, it was about 4 years ago when you could still joke around about that. But in today's environment, I'm not sure if I would use that title anymore. Right? So,
I really do feel a love for my team, and I've said that word to them before. So I don't know that it's inappropriate, but you have to frame it the right way.
You have to, and they have to know that you are in it, you're not going to like back that up with physical action, right? And my previous business, we had about 15 employees with a national magazine called Next Step for high school students, and so they knew that they knew how I meant it. We'll say, right? So
there you go. Out of passion.
Exactly. So, Brian, this has been phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time and your lessons. Really appreciate it. I wish you continued massive success. If our Avanti family wants to reach out to you, learn more about you, do business with you, what are the best ways to get in touch with you?
Well, certainly come to our website, sellyourmac.com, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just search Brian Burke. You'll see, President or Chief Mac Man at Sell Your Mac in my title there. Yeah, definitely connect with me. I'd love to talk to you.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, Brian. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me share my stories with your listeners.
Absolutely. And thank you, Avanti family, for listening to the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast. We love helping you. want you to reach out, say hello. Contact me, David at davidmamano.com. Go to AvantiEntrepreneur.com. Last but not least, we have an incredible event coming up, folks. We have Avanti Live Summit coming up in October 16th, 17th, and 18th. 3-day summit. We've got incredible speakers. There'll be incredible entrepreneurs in the audience where you can grow, learn, and collaborate with them. Love to have you there. Go to AvantiEntrepreneur.com to learn more about that. And again, make it a great day, everybody, and stay awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening. Head over to AvantiEntrepreneurGroup.com for show notes and more helpful advice from entrepreneurs like you. Continue to find your entrepreneurial rhythm at the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast.